we will be free. For when the rising tide is turned in every London quarter, Parliament comes crashing down with Robert's Rules of Order.
Boo, you whore. Perfectly. Boo, you whore.
Okay.
Bitches.
Now let's get after all that, let's get to the real question for January 3rd of 2 years ago.
Okay.
This was another one of these long ass questions.
Oh God, I hate those.
Which of the following describes the file? Excuse me. Let me try that again and say it correctly, not saying the wrong word. Which of the following describes the filling, not filing, of vacancies in a committee?
Okay.
I'm going to file it under 86, yeah. A, if the assembly has the power of selection, removal or replacement of committee members, removal or replacement can take place only...
What? Wait, hold on. That's what? Is there supposed to be a period or something in there?
Okay, let me restate this because I think this is a shitty question already.
Oh God.
If the I'm going to include the punctuation.
Yeah, because I'm like confused already.
Okay. A, if the assembly has the power of selection, comma, removal or replacement of committee members, comma, removal or replacement can take place only under rules applicable, whatever you want to pronounce it, to motions to rescind or amend something previously adopted.
Okay, I understand that. Okay.
B, committee members are presumed to serve until their successors are appointed. C, the appointing power has the power to remove or replace members of the committee. D, all of the above.
Okay, so what was the intro again?
Which of the following describes the filling of vacancies in a committee?
Okay. All right, let's go through them again.
Okay. A, if the assembly has the power of selection, comma, removal or replacement. Oh, I see what their problem here is. They forgot a fucking Oxford comma.
Yeah. So they're basically saying if the assembly can fill, remove, or replace, they can reverse those only through a motion to rescind or amend something previously adopted.
So let me rephrase. Let me restate this with the Oxford comma that needs to be there that's not in here. If the assembly has the power of selection, comma, removal, comma, or replacement of committee members, comma, removal or replacement can take place only under rules applicable to motions to rescind or amend something previously adopted.
Okay. Hold on. I want to talk about that.
Yeah.
Removal.
While you're talking, I'm drinking.
Can only take place. I don't. Can you rescind part of? So let me talk through. So you have a committee appointing Mike Seebeck and Wayne Harlos to a committee, and we decide that Mike
committee,
right, and we decide that Mike Seebeck is being too rude, and our feelings are hurt, and our feels are really hurt, so we want to remove Mike Seebeck. Would a motion to can you rescind part of a motion? Can you rescind just the appointment of one person and keep the other person intact? I don't think you can rescind part of a motion, but you can amend something. But
can you amend it to rescind part of it?
Well, can you amend it to replace the names?
Yeah.
I don't think A is right. It just seems too weird. So I'm just going to rule A out. And if A's not it, then D's not. But I have a feeling D is the answer. But everything's worded really shitty. But continue.
Okay. B, committee members are presumed to serve until their successors are appointed.
No, because not all committees have successors. Some committees are ad hoc committees that... It's supposed to just be two people talking about something for a week.
Well, not only that, but let's say you have a vacancy in a committee, okay, for whatever reason, a guy resigns, dies, quits, whatever,
gets thrown off for being rude because their feelings are hurt.
Right. Okay. The position's vacant until an appointee is or successor is appointed.
Yeah, B's not right.
There's no assumption of continuation until a replacement is made.
Okay, if B is not right, then D is wrong. So what's C?
C, the appointing power has the power to remove or replace members of the committee.
C. That's going to be my answer.
And D, all the above.
C is going to be my answer.
Prepare to scream. The answer is D.
It's all of the above?
Yeah.
Warning, bullshit alert.
Okay. Am I getting all the shitty questions?
I told you this was shitty. It's just the minute the red Oxford comma missing, I knew it was
Okay, what would you have picked?
of these.
Yeah.
I know B is not correct,
Yeah.
and I would have gone with C probably.
Same thing I did.
Yeah. However, I'd also caveat with C that would be subject to being stated so in the bylaws. But I don't know if that's an accurate statement or not.
No, it's not. Well, maybe it is. I'm doubting reality now. I'm having too much fun. Okay, let's see. I need to get speakers so we can make this. Okay.
So the reference is section 13.
Oh. Section. I am shooketh.
Shooketh.
I am. I'm shooketh. Because I really thought I had that right, and you would have picked the same thing probably. It's hard to tell what you would do, but I think that. Okay, continue.
I would argue that you have to explicitly have the power to remove if it's not explicitly
But out of
listed.
the questions there,
no,
out of the answers
I'm
there,
based now on principles of bylaws construction.
Okay.
Okay. This is section 13. This is for the 11th, page 177, which is in here somewhere.
Just tell me, what the heading
Under
is.
commit refer.
Yeah. I got the standard descriptions.
Past that. Keep going. All the way. There's a section titled Vacancies in a Committee.
Okay. And he is just doing the Clydesdale.
You're right
okay.
There. Okay. It is lines 19 through 34 in the 11th, which is the beginning of the section.
Okay. Okay. You read and I'll see if it's...
The power... Excuse me. Anatomic furball.
That's what she said.
Depends on the anatomy.
Also, never mind. I was going to get really filthy.
I beat you to it.
Well, yeah.
Boo, you whore.
The power to appoint a committee includes the power to fill any vacancy that may arise in it.
Okay.
That's fine. The resignation of a member of a committee should be addressed to the appointing power, and it is the responsibility of that power to fill the resulting vacancy. Unless the bylaws or other governing rules provide otherwise.
And that's always the case.
The appointing authority has the power to remove or replace members of the committee if a single person...
Stop.
Sorry.
What was that again?
Unless the bylaws or other governing rules provide otherwise.
And that's always the case, right?
See different pages. The appointing authority has the power to remove or replace members of the committee.
Isn't that what C said?
The appointing power has the power to replace members of the committee. Yes.
How am I wrong?
They said it was all the above.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I was getting all worked up.
Hey, dumbass.
Okay, never mind. Okay, so C is right.
Okay. If a single person, such as the president, has the power of appointment,
He has the power to remove or
replace
replace.
a member so appointed.
Mhm.
But if the assembly has the power of selection, removal or replacement can take place only under rules applicable
Okay.
to the motions to rescind or amend something previously adopted.
Okay, got it
So
now.
that's the A. Committee members are presumed to serve until their
That's
successors
bullshit.
are appointed.
That's bullshit. That's bullshit.
I mean B right there.
No, but I'm sorry. An ad hoc committee? I guess I mean, I see what they're saying now. I'm being a little bit... Because you also thought that question was wrong, but
Yes.
But let me tell you how I'm seeing it from their point of view now. You and I sometimes have a lot of problem with these questions because we really are reading it through the lens of our involvement in the Libertarian Party.
Right.
No
doubt.
And the types of committees. Here, I understand what they're saying. Even in an ad hoc committee that might be short-lived, if you want to be pedantic about it, yes, committee members are presumed to serve until their successors are appointed. Because say you had a very short-lived ad hoc committee, but the day after appointment, they resign. But this isn't talking about
It's in there.
Yeah, I know, but I'm still trying to
Resignation members should be...
No, but I'm just dealing with this one sentence, trying to make it make sense.
Well, yeah, because there's a problem here. Let me lay it out. I think I see it. If a member resigns, it presumes that they're serving in that position until their successors are appointed. What if they never appoint a successor? What if they say, sorry, Charlie, you're stuck? That's wrong.
This sentence, not only is it a shitty question, I think this is a shitty sentence in Roberts.
Yeah.
And it wasn't changed in the 12th.
Yeah, because here, I mean, that's right there. If you resign from the committee. That resignation means that there's a vacancy.
I think I've found a way to make it make sense.
But then they're saying that if the member, but if they refuse, if the committee, or if the appointing body refuses to appoint a replacement, according to that last sentence, they're stuck with it until either the committee is done or the cows come home.
I have a way to make it make sense.
What's that?
I'm still going to say it's shitty, but I'm trying. I see what they're trying to say. What they're trying to say is there is no presumed, and I could be wrong. I'm also now going to defeat my own argument. What I think they're trying to say.
When that happens.
I know. I'm trying to help them. I think what they're saying is they're presumed to be able to serve until the task is completed, whether it takes a day or 10 years.
Right.
That there's no fixed term of service.
Right.
That the term of service is until
the committee is discharged
or successors are appointed. Because, oh no, now I'm going to defeat my defeat. I was going to say, it says elsewhere in Roberts that if the whole board changes, any ad hoc committee terms are presumed to have expired. Remember, that is true on the LP.
Right.
But if the committee's task
that's interesting. But keep going.
But if the committee's task isn't finished, the new board is supposed to appoint a successor. And what this is saying is there'll be no gap. So even though their terms should expire when the whole board changes, they are presumed to continue to serve until the new board gets around to appointing their successors. That is what I think they're trying to say here. They could have worded it better, but
that also raised an interesting point.
What's that?
At our upcoming convention, all the board members are up for election because there were no elections.
Let me then qualify, because you and I actually dealt with this in a previous episode, and we looked it up because of staggered terms,
right? Which we don't have because of the coronavirus.
Well, we do though. We have staggered terms in our bylaws,
right? Just
because appointments or other things make it so that by happenstance they're all replaced at one time. It's not because of the bylaws. It's not the normal expiration of a term.
Right.
So no, the committees won't expire because the natural terms are staggered.
Yeah, but they should.
But
as a matter of fact, I think you could argue. I think you could argue the reason we have staggered terms, besides to maintain continuity on the board, is to make sure that doesn't happen.
But do we have any committees anyway that would survive?
Technically, yes.
Which one?
The convention committee, because they still have to do the after effects of the convention.
But don't our bylaws say the convention committee serves until? I could be being confused with national, because national.
It does not. There is no specific mention of when the convention committee is done with their duties in our bylaws.
That is bad.
In fact, I don't know if the convention committee is even mentioned at all, to be honest.
Yeah, and no, I think it is.
The credentials committee is, but not the convention committee. Interesting.
I heard y'all's discussion on that. Normally, you would say those things belong in the special rules, but this board don't need no. I love the way they brought up special rules and you said the one they wouldn't pass. Oh, I was like, yes.
Oh, that was with the policy manual.
Yeah, but that was their special rules.
Yes.
That they wouldn't pass.
Yeah.
It's funny that this committee is all punting it to special rules when the board doesn't want to adopt special rules.
And not only that, but they're trying to say, "Oh, this belongs in the continuity binder." It's like,
no, the continuity binder is not.
That's too low.
It's not special. It's not anything. It's custom at best.
It's a P&P manual for the position, not a set of rules how you do things.
Right. In the hierarchy, it's custom at best.
Right.
Or, no, let me actually make it.
No, that's an accurate statement.
Well, I think some of them might even be considered a standing rule.
No.
Like...
How would you pass it as a standing rule?
Well, I'm saying at best. Like giving, winking and crossing your fingers behind your back. Like, let me give you an example. Well, no, that would be a...
I'll give an example. How would... in a media director's continuity binder.
We don't have a media director anymore, but
well, I used to be one.
It's now the communications.
Yes, I know. But back in the day when I was I had my continuity binder had a section there detailing. That was interesting.
David, you've interrupted. Okay, keep going.
There was a piece in there that I had written up about how to get and maintain contacts with all of the various TV, radio stations, and newspapers, because this is pre-internet, really, across the entire state.
That would be a standing rule.
Why would it be a standing rule? I was never instructed to do that. I just did it as part of the job.
Okay. If it's in a continuity binder that your successor is expected to follow the same route.
They're not expected to follow the same route. It's served to guide them on how to do the job, and they can take it and expand on it, improve on it, change it, or whatever.
I'm saying...
It's to preserve institutional knowledge.
No, Play with me a bit. That's what she said.
I'll ask your husband first.
I'm saying granting the greatest latitude in interpretation here. Remember I said at best.
Yeah.
At best, maybe you could argue it's a standing rule.
I would argue it's too low for that, but keep going.
But really custom is probably more.
I would argue it is custom, yes. Because, if you make it a standing rule at that level, then it's got to be voted on by somebody to make it that way.
Okay, I've got to...
Do we want to have a board micromanaging each director's activities that way? I don't think so.
Well, standing rules are easily suspendable, and I don't think that's really micromanagement.
If I could wave a magic wand, well, if I had to wave a magic wand, we would be having the problems on the committee right now. But if I had to wave a magic wand where there are things in the bylaws that are of the nature of a rule of order, they would be explicitly stated as a rule of order that are in the bylaws.
Well, here's my argument. I don't believe that things that are in the bylaws that are in the nature of a rule of order should be suspendable. And here's why. How then... Well, I'm going to answer my own question in a minute, but I'm trying not to make people have to be parliamentary wizards. Right. I know that's what this fucking committee we're gossiping about thinks I want, but it's not. No. To me, if an assembly...
I want them to freaking think.
Oh, you're doing a Mr. Hahnemann. Your mama. Okay. If an assembly chose to put something in the bylaws, I would then assume that they mean for it not to be suspendable. And why doesn't the body have the right to make a rule of order not suspendable if they want to?
I don't know why they couldn't.
And if it's in the bylaws, to me, the presumption should be that they don't want it to be suspended.
Right. Because the location is part of it. Because the location being not suspendable is one thing. But because it's the nature of a rule, it's because of what a rule is versus a bylaw, which
But they put it in the bylaws.
Right.
Now,
there are some things in the bylaws that have to be there because they're that damned important as a rule. You want them there.
But
example, how we select delegates for one.
But that's not in the nature of a. Is it in the nature of a rule?
I would argue it might be.
So, the voting
because of the process.
Well, actually, though, I think Robert specifically says voting methods aren't. It depends. Is it a ballot?
Yeah, and some of those, yeah.
When bylaws specify a ballot, it's not suspendable. Okay. But let me answer now.
Yet they did it anyway back in 2019.
I might be wrong, and that might just be for election of directors or officers.
It's possible.
But anyway. Let me answer my own objection. If a body wanted to put in something that's in the nature of the rule of order in the bylaws and make it non-suspendable, what they would have to do is add that sentence. This cannot be suspended.
Oh, but we can't add that. We're adding words. We can't.
I know. We're getting charged by the word.
Words are evil.
But my argument is that, man, why do you have to make it so complicated? To me, that the fact that they put it in the bylaws means they think it's important enough not to be suspended.
Yes. I agree with that completely.
But Roberts doesn't agree.
I think it's important enough. If it's important enough to put in the bylaws,
it's important enough not to be suspendable.
Right. That's the damn reason it's there.
And that eliminates the whole ambiguity, because you don't want ambiguity. You want the members to know their rights. What can be more clear? It's in the bylaws. Or do we want to go by, well, if it's in the nature of a rule of order, which is so debatable.
It is. And this is where the committee is dropping the ball. They don't understand the different natures of these pieces and their impacts. I know I wouldn't bet you on this because we'd be on the same side, but I bet that none of them know that there is in fact an issue
the statement I just said, that things in the bylaws that are in the nature of a rule of order are suspendable. I bet they have no idea of that concept.
No, they don't. I've asked them point blank. I said, look, instead of just doing a knee-jerk reaction to what's written there, say, we got to change it, ask yourself first, why is it there? What is the purpose of this sentence?
You know, and because I don't...
and yet, I've yet to see anybody even do that.
Well, the one person I praise a lot, I don't like naming names in this.
Right. Well, okay, except for her.
Yeah, but
That
still,
person, yes.
that person will ask that. In fact, I think I explained this to you. Like, she caught on, man.
You did.
Like, it immediately, when I read to her the principles of parliamentary, the protecting, I think I told you this, but I want to get it on the record, where I'd said to her, the reason for Roberts is to protect the majority and a significant minority, significant being defined as a third or more.
Right.
And so when I said to her about the bylaws, I didn't even have to explain. She said, I see now why they have to be 2/3 to protect a majority of at least a minority of at least a third. I didn't even have to connect those dots for her.
Yeah.
I never figured that out for myself. I had to read it. She's a sharp cookie.
She caught on instantly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's a sharp cookie.
Did we get her a copy of Roberts?
I did.
Cool.
Her husband bought her the 12th, and I gave her an extra copy of the 11th that I had. So, and then she saw mine with the tabs and she's going to be one of us one day because her eyes lit up. Now, here's the reason we're still bitching. Hold on. Do I have? Well, hold on.
You catty bitches.
Yes, we are catty bitches. Now, what was it? Oh, when we sit here and go, they don't know this. We're not being snobs. Maybe you are. I'm not being a snob. And, well, I'm saying this because you've known Roberts longer than I have. I think
that's not saying much. You know it better than I do.
Well, I'm only because I'm studying for an exam.
Yeah.
But you've been in the party longer. I'm more of a newcomer. But the fact is that I am somewhat of a newcomer and learned it that quick shows that anyone can do it.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons we do this show, and the people on this committee had been listening to this, they'd know as much as we do.
Right. And the part of it also, and I made this point to the committee, and they're complaining about it, is like this is an opportunity to learn, to grow, to understand this stuff, rather than complain about it. Rather than dumbing this stuff down, they should be looking at the perspective of why is this the way it is? How can we learn from this and explain it to people why this is justified? They don't want to do that because they want to dumb it down. And it's like, that's not the purpose of this.
Listen, I know sometimes it's not pleasant.
I can dumb the bylaws down to freaking 1/2 sheet of 3 sentences each and be done with it. That's not the reason we're here.
But in the background you and I have is similar. You used to hate Roberts.
Yeah.
I used to hate Roberts.
Yes. And we both learned how to...
We learned it out of self-defense.
Right.
And during that, we learned to actually appreciate it.
And understand why this stuff is going on.
We no longer hate it. I don't put it on the, but... Which the committee thinks I do. But
I think I do too. But they also haven't read the damn thing.
Hey, when we get to do our special discussion, I got a topic for it. Okay. Well, crap, there was one other thing I wanted to say, and I forgot what it was. Oh, so we did this again so anyone can learn it.
Right.
Because I don't like seeing people get beat up.
No, I made it.
And
been there.
I've been there badly. And with trying not to let new people learn this is what I said to the person who I compliment.
Yeah.
We are ensuring that Colorado will never again produce a national chair, a national vice chair, or a national secretary. Mm-hmm. Because those 3 positions
have to know their shit.
And why do we want to not give Colorado that pride?
Yeah.
Because we've produced a lot of national leaders.
We have. And there's something else to it. And this is something I don't think they comprehend either. Colorado is the founding state of this party. Okay, that doesn't mean we have a higher standard than the rest of them, but we've been around the longest. We have there should be a sense of pride in that, and that we know what the hell we're doing.
And I think, I would have to do this research, but I think we have produced more national officers than any other state.
I don't know for sure about the research, but I would agree that that's probably a fair assertion.
Well, I can think of 3 national chairs.
Nick,
Susan Nolan.
Yeah.
David Nolan. I'm just going back to the early party.
Right.
Our vice chair the early party was Colorado. Of course, Colorado was very
Colorado,
no,
really.
actually, but California was really big in the early party. So was New York and Oklahoma. But still, and then I've been secretary.
Yeah. Ruth Bennett was former chair here. She's been head of the JudCom.
And she's been secretary.
Yeah.
Who else? I mean, there's been a lot.
Yeah.
And even though he didn't win, Richard Longstreth ran for vice chair.
Right.
He came really close to winning,
Yeah.
and he's been a regional and whatever, and I've been a
Regional rep.
regional.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to add it up. I think Colorado's pretty smart. Let's forget officers, national leaders,
Yeah.
LNC members. Say goodbye to that if we do not equip people like the person I'm.
You could even argue Betty Rose is a regional rep.
She was wasn't she?
Yes, she was.
Yeah, she was a regional rep.
Yeah.
So, Michelle never was. I'm trying to think of other people. What Jeff Orrick never was. Norm Olson.
Norm Olson, yes.
We've produced a lot.
Yeah.
We never will again if we don't equip our new people.
Right.
Because the person I've been complimenting,
Because
I can see that person on the LNC.
If they're not equipped, they'll be eaten alive up there.
Well, I could see you on the LNC if you put your mind to.
I ran for regional rep in California.
Did you win that race or?
I did not win that race because
Well, it's tough competition.
the Star Chamber got panicked at the last second and threw Dan Wiener up there instead because they knew.
Is that when Dan won?
Yes, they put him in at the last minute, and because I had a legit chance of winning that thing. And when California was getting ready to fight top two at the same convention, our state chair told both Wiener and Lieberman, who's the alternate, you will support having the LNC get us some money to fight this because our state party's survival is at stake, and if you don't do it, this board is willing and ready to vote to remove you and replace you with Seebeck.
You know,
At that meeting, I was glaring bullets through them to let them know.
Well, let me tell you.
And the LNC passed it.
I'm going to pass some compliments.
That was 2008.
That you might not agree with, but I'm going to compliment those two people.
Yeah.
I have my criticisms of both of them.
I have plenty of those, but yeah.
But Wiener has served as a social media volunteer, not volunteer like he didn't post, but he would provide commentary. Like we used to discuss posts in the background. When he would critique things, because I know he's pragmatist, but when he would he actually was very solid on, nope, that doesn't meet our principles. No, him and I were on the same side.
What years?
This is recent. I haven't been around that long.
Okay, because that means he's evolved. Because back in those days, he was a curmudgeon, and he didn't like anything to do with anything radical.
Let me tell you, behind the scenes, I'd been impressed, and who I've become very good friends with, and so has Wayne, is Scott Lieberman.
Lieberman never impressed me any. He always seemed to me to be one of these staying around barfly type guys.
Nah.
To the point when we were trying to get the 2011 state convention sorted out, I had to chair that meeting.
Again, maybe people change.
He was sitting there trying to tell me how to run Roberts, and I'm like, sit down and shut up, man.
Well, listen, Scott is a pragmatist, and he and I will disagree on a lot of things. But over these past 2 years, I have really, really grown to respect him. His thing is electing candidates at the local level. And
now,
well, again, I can only say my experience, and he's done the research. He's sent us, Wayne, like all kinds of research for Colorado that they've done nothing with.
Yeah.
But Scott Lieberman was hardcore on making sure we had a physical convention. I respect the hell out of Scott Lieberman. And I never thought I would say that. But in 2020, people I would have told you were smoking crack, that I now say are like at the top of my list. And you and I are going to disagree on some of this. Aaron Starr, Alicia Matson, Scott Lieberman. Those three people I have grown to absolutely respect the hell out of.
My opinion of Matson has changed.
Matson
okay, and I'll say
is
that
the bomb. I like her.
And I say that because one, she was dealing with crap in the days when they were trying to throw Lee Rice off the LNC.
Right.
She was terrible.
Well, was she terrible, or did she just have a different opinion?
No, she was terrible.
Okay.
She argued the case against Lee, and we destroyed her against the JudCom. And and it was very simple arguments. She's grown in that respect since then. She is, I think, mellowed out more.
She's an amazing secretary.
And she's got. I never questioned her competency as a secretary. She's always been competent at that, no question. What the problem was is she was always she was very anti radical with the Star Chamber, but she's settled down a lot.
She's still anti-radical, and I don't have a problem
But
with that.
when at Orlando, when I was trying to make sure that we had
she was
stuff
great.
straightened out, I actually asked her to double check what I had there.
Oh no, she was great.
And she gave it a look. Yeah, this looks great. I said, thank you. I appreciate that.
No, she was great on that. And the reason why I asked you, was it terrible or just wrong? Now let me give you an example.
It was just wrong. And terribly presented.
Okay, that's different. Because on the Oregon issue,
yes,
me and her don't agree on that. But I don't think she was terrible. I just think she was wrong.
That was after the Holy Rights.
Okay.
Thing. Yeah.
All right. So
Anyway.
I'm gonna.
Yeah.
Am I wrong or is it shitty?
I think it's shitty.
Thank you. Let me write my pile of shit on here.
Because I agree with you that C is correct, and that the way this whole section in Roberts is worded is shitty.
Okay, so I still haven't gotten one wrong because they've been shitty, but I haven't gotten right either. I draw my little. Let me ask Wayne what he thinks of this. What does that look like to you? Is that a pile of shit? Does that look like a pile of shit to you?
No.
Show it to the camera.
What does it look like to you?
Show it to the camera.
Don't ask me to identify ink blotches on paper.
It either looks like a pile of cannonballs or shit.
Okay, interrupt.
Maybe
No.
a little bit of some fumes rising
Tell
up.
me when I can.
No, wait. I was just being facetious.
Favor! Let's hear the opposition side. Like a stubborn donkey's bray. All opposed? You say nay. Opposed! Opposed! The motion carries anyway.